Lindenwood head coach Jed Stugart. The team had its open date last week. They came off the win over SEMO back on November 9th, and they're going to close out their third season of Division I football when they play another nationally ranked team at UT Martin. So, Coach, some thoughts on your team and how the open date went, and then we'll go to some questions.
Well, I think it was good. We kind of accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. We were able to get out recruiting, and we got a couple of days of practice in last week just to kind of stay a little sharp and start to prepare a little bit for UT Martin. And then, they were able to get some rest over the weekend. I feel like, fellow guys were in good spirits. Like we've kind of, the goal, the task at hand is to, move on to the next week. Obviously, the guys had a bye week to celebrate and feel good about a very good performance, good win. But that's over with. It was over right away for us. We're because we know the opponent that we got to take on next. It doesn't get any easier. So, but feel good where we're at. Yeah, obviously we've. I don't know that we necessarily get a bunch of guys back. The guys that are out are probably out for the year. But it's just that time of year where everybody's feels a little bit dinged up, and they're gonna. I think we'll find out today. Our kind of our little small walkthrough practice. I felt like guys were hopping around a little bit yesterday, and we'll kind of see how our practice goes because we got to have a great week of practice to be successful Saturday. Just like our guys had probably their best week of practice in preparation for SEMO, so we've got to repeat that type of performance. Not wait till Saturday, but our game has to start today at practice.
Coach Simpson talked about your rushing attack and how good your offensive line was too. So I wanted you to kind of talk about just the evolution we said of your offensive line, your running backs this year, and then maybe compare it to UT Martin because they have a star running back too, and what they have done rushing.
Yeah, they got a really good one, and they got a really physical offensive line, and I think that's what we charted out to do last spring. We been in the league full year or two. Kind of got, it was good for us as we started into this league a couple of years ago, especially against, I think our first game was against UT Martin, and they punched us pretty good. And I think it 2 years ago, and I think it really let our players know, like, hey, this is FCS Division I football, and it's against a really good physical football team. And we found that out early 2 years ago, and then week in and week out, we got enough players on our team now that understand the physicality it takes to play at this level, and especially in this conference. And so that's what we, I guess in the spring, we've always, if you look at our history from Coach Abork and I've been together for 14 years. So, going back to Sioux Falls to here, we've always been, kind of one of the mindset of being able to run the football. So that's not something just new to our identity or our philosophy. We've just, I think we've got 5 pretty good offensive linemen that, Coach Flores came in following a great Denver Johnson late in July. And so the job that Coach Flores has done with our offensive line has been outstanding. But I think, when we're physical and we're and we've got 3 really good physical backs that run hard, we're blocking downfield with receivers. Like when all that stuff's happening, we can get some of those, we can sustain the run game. But we also know this will be the best nose guard that we face all year, undoubtedly. They've got a very good physical defense. Their defensive line, especially their nose, is the best one we'll see. And so we got to be ready to match that physicality because this will be a tough task to run the football on. But we got to be patient. That's one thing we've done a good job of is staying patient with it and not just canning it on. We've had days where it hadn't been going, and all of a sudden we were able to kind of get some positive yards in the run game. This game is going to be crucial against a really good team like this to try to be successful on first and second down, and not get behind the chains with this crew. And then so that's just something we've really emphasized. The last couple of years, we want to be a team that does well running the football.
You had said last week, I believe, or 2 weeks last week about, this is you're sort of treating this as your playoffs and play 2 of the top teams because you can't go to the postseason. When this game ends, then like how do you put a stamp on this season? If you all win this game, you will have won 2 to finish out or whatever. Or if you don't win, it's going to come to an end this weekend. How can you kind of summarize what you've seen from your team?
Well, yeah, I know we've kind of, I guess, from a coaching standpoint, you know, I, I think I've talked about this before, having this been my third program that's gone through a transition up, each one of those is, you have to realize you got to chart out a plan. You know that it's going to take some time. So you got to be kind of patient, but not complacent, if that makes sense. You can't use those as excuses, but you have to be realistic to say, okay, we're playing teams that have been established for a long time. They're very good. You have to flip a roster. And so there's a lot of growing pains that come with that. So I think, obviously I kind of look at this year as really year two, because we mixed in some Division II teams and stuff our first year, although we did very well our first year against FCS play. But this is really our second full year, and we do see, as a program, we do feel like we are a better football team than we were last year. I think we're healthier than we were last year, but still, I think we're a better team. And then I think even two of those losses, and this is not taking anything away from the teams that beat us, two of those losses I felt like was disappointing, just because I felt like we were in control of that game. We kind of made crucial mistakes at the wrong time that might have changed the outcome of that. So we even feel like, as a program, we kind of feel like, we're even a little better than maybe our record shows. And that's what we wanted to see. And that, again, but those teams that beat us made the plays when they needed to. So I'm not taking anything away from that. But I think you have to take a big picture back. I think this will be a great test for us, because a part of that is learning how to sustain winning. Like when you're trying to get teams better, but then the next step is that, it's kind of like what we always said, what we got from Bob Young at the University of Sioux Falls. That was our program slogan: winners win, because that's what winners do. Once you become a program that just expects to win, the procedures it takes to win. And I think we're getting there. But this will be a great test for us to go into a really, really tough environment against a really, really good football team. I'm not just saying that as the coach speak. They're a really good physical football team, and we've got to be able to match that. And because that's what winners do. They figure out ways to do it. And, so that'll be a great test for us. But I think now, if the season was over, like right now, we would still feel disappointed on a couple losses. But as a whole, I felt like, other than one game where we've just got totally outmatched, I felt like we were in every game. We competed in every game, and we could make cases to win every game. And so I think that's a good step. And we're on that trajectory that I feel like we were supposed to be on.
Coach, appreciate your time not only today, but all season long, and best of luck to your team this weekend.
Thanks, Kyle. Always enjoy it.